The rain poured down heavily on the wide glass windows of New York State University. Inside the dimly lit classroom, a young woman sat in the front row, her fingers nervously playing with her pen as she waited for the new literature professor to arrive. Her name was Emily Carter, a final-year student, bright, outspoken, and fiercely ambitious. But that day, she had no idea her life was about to change forever. When the door opened, the noise of the storm was drowned out by a deep, confident voice. "Good morning, everyone. I'm Professor Adrian Miles, and I'll be teaching modern literature this semester." Emily looked up. The man standing before her wasn't like the usual professors. He was young, probably in his early 30s, with calm gray eyes that seemed to hold both mystery and warmth. His presence demanded attention, and when his gaze briefly met hers, Emily felt something strange stir inside her, a quiet spark she couldn't explain. For the first few weeks, it was just admiration. She loved his lectures, the way he spoke about love, pain, and human emotion hidden between lines of poetry. But soon, admiration grew into something deeper, something dangerous. Adrian noticed her, too. She wasn't just another student to him. Emily's essays stood out, raw, emotional, full of passion and honesty. Her mind fascinated him, her energy drew him in. But as a teacher, he knew where the line was. He told himself to stay professional, to avoid looking at her too long, to ignore that small thrill he felt every time she asked a question that revealed her heart. Then came the day that changed everything. It was late evening. The classroom was empty except for them. Emily had stayed back to ask about an assignment, but when she tripped over a loose wire and almost fell, Adrian caught her in his arms. Their eyes met, too close, too long. The world outside disappeared, and for a heartbeat, silence filled the space between them. He stepped back first, his voice unsteady. "You should go home, Emily." But she didn't move. "You feel it too, don't you?" she whispered. Adrian froze. He wanted to deny it, to say she was imagining things. But he couldn't lie, not when her eyes looked at him like that. "This isn't right," he finally said. "You're my student." Emily smiled sadly. "Maybe. But I'm also a woman who's falling in love." From that night, they both fought an impossible battle. She tried to focus on her studies, he tried to draw boundaries, but every class, every glance, every accidental touch only made the distance harder to maintain. One evening, during a literature exhibition organized by the university, Adrian found Emily standing alone near a painting. She looked lost, her usual spark gone. "What's wrong?" he asked softly. "I got an offer from Boston," she said. "A research internship. I should be happy, but I'm not. Because leaving means leaving you." Adrian's heart clenched. It was the moment he had dreaded, the moment when love demanded a choice. "Emily," he said quietly, "sometimes love means letting go. You have a future waiting for you. Don't throw it away for something uncertain." Tears welled in her eyes. "But what if you're the one thing I'm sure about?" Adrian turned away, struggling to stay strong. "If it's real, time won't kill it. It'll find its way back." Emily left for Boston 2 weeks later. Their last meeting was quiet, no grand promises, no confessions. Just a lingering touch, a look that said everything words couldn't. Years passed. Emily became a published writer, her first book inspired by the men who once taught her how to see beauty in pain. It was titled The Unspoken Lesson. She had moved on, or so she thought. One afternoon, at a book signing event in New York, she was busy greeting readers when she heard a voice behind her. "Come." Familiar. "You still write like you speak straight from your heart." Emily turned, her breath catching in her throat. Adrian stood there, older but still carrying that same warmth in his eyes. "I read your book," he said, smiling gently. "You turned pain into poetry." She laughed softly, her voice trembling. "You taught me how." They talked for hours that day, about life, choices, and everything they never said back then. There was no guilt anymore, no rules between them. Just two souls who had waited long enough. When the event ended, Adrian looked at her and said, "Maybe it's time we stop running from what we both knew was real." Emily smiled through her tears. "Maybe it's time we finally start." And as they walked out into the soft evening light, hand in hand, there was a quiet peace in their hearts. Love had waited, endured, and found its way home.